people with wording have wording in it on the ballot. So
So yeah, I'm on the.
All right, I'll just pull it down and stick it.
The only thing it does is to
Heavenly Father, we just thank you for once again being able to come together in our democracy. Lord, we just ask you for wisdom and guidance for everyone in attendance. Father, we just ask you that you just put your hand over our nation. Help us, help our leaders to lead by example. Help our leaders to be led by your word. Lord, give us the strength and character to stand even when all those around us are sitting. Father, I just thank you for all these amazing people. Thank you for this amazing county. Thank you for this amazing country. And we just give you all the glory, honor, and praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call?
Apologize. Drummond.
here.
Reggie.
Here.
Lynette.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Scoffey.
Here. Approve the minutes from the July 1st, 2020 regular meeting, July 7th, 2020 special meeting, and July 9th, 2020 special meeting.
So moved.
I'll second.
There's a discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor say yes.
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 Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Public comment, 3 minutes per person. So Doug, do you want to be under presentations? Or you be more than 3 minutes?
Maybe.
I didn't get you in on the official agenda, so.
Well, let Lenny go.
Got
You can
it.
add.
So we'll do it, you can come in at the end of the presentations and make your final presentation. Any other public comment? If not, all right. Presentations, Lenny.
Okay. It looks like you guys are gonna need this language.
I think we have it.
Do you have it? Do you have it?
Yeah, I think it
I
is.
have it.
Okay. So I'm Lenny Avery, Executive Director of the Oconee County Commission on Aging, for everyone who is present. We are seeking a millage of .825. Our previous millage is going to expire, or it expired in 2019. That portion was 375. We have a hanging chad of a .25 millage that's going to expire in the next 2 fiscal years. So we're looking at proposing a new millage on the ballot to go for the next 6 years. That will be all encompassing. That would drop off, and we would just get on a 6-year train The reason why we're looking to do a new millage is because we're looking to expand our programs. Currently, the new programs we're going to be looking to expand over the next fiscal, which is an adult day center, which allows for individuals who have handicapped individuals in their home to come to our center. Our trained staff would be able to take care of them. Their caregivers would get a little bit of a respite, a little bit of a break. We're looking at doing an 8-hour day with breakfast, lunch, and a snack, possibly dinner for some of those participants. We're looking to expand our respite coverage. Right now, we have a basic respite plan that is paid for by ASA. We would like to expand that so we can offer respite in the home. I'm pleased to announce that we just purchased a transit shuttle bus, and we're going to be looking to offering limited transportation. Well, the reason why I say limited is because I'm not Thunder Bay, I don't have a budget, but I do want to take off a little bit of the pressure of some of our residents who don't have access to quality transportation. We are going to be offering non-emergency medical transportation. I want to say that again, non-emergency medical transportation, which means you call us up, you get on our schedule, we can help you get to your doctor's appointment, okay? We're in the process of working that out. We're hoping to have that rolled out, hopefully here by October 1st. We're also looking at expanding our information and assistance program, which is having people in-house taking calls from people in the community and being able to refer that information or refer them to the programs and services that they need. Now, our budget currently, our current mill is 6.25. Okay, that's where our current mill is, which gives us an operational budget of about $465,500. Our current cost for staff is about $395,000. That gives us a very small margin of wiggle room of what we can do to offer services. So the reason why we're asking for this increase is to increase the services that we're able to do. Our biggest cost, and like any business, is people. Having the employees, having it to do it. I love to have an army of volunteers, but that's just not going to happen. So what I would love to do is be able to expand these new programs. Are going to possibly create up to 20 new jobs within our center. We're looking at hiring at least 10 new direct care workers. I'm expecting a flood of resumes to hit me after the end of July once this expanded expanded unemployment benefit ends at the end of July. But we are looking to increase our numbers. So this new millage increase should give us about $138,000 based off of taxable values over the last 3 years. And I can tell you right there, that's already spoken for. One coordinator from our daycare program, that's $38,000. One $10 an hour driver, that's $28,000. We're already at 70. Okay, and I'm only asking for 140 increase, and we can continue going. So, and if I hire 10 new people at $10 an hour, that's already over what we've already asked for. So that's where we're at. That's why we're asking for the assistance. And I will try to find other grant options to try to offset some of the costs. So with that, I submit back to you guys. Any questions?
What's the mood of the people? Other your resident, well, I won't say residents, but the seniors that are there, and kind of getting the idea that everybody's for this?
I believe so. I think right now there's a lot of goodwill. A lot of people are really excited to see stuff happening. Before I got there, there was a lot of just treading water. And no disrespect to any previous administration, I'm not a tread water kind of guy. If I'm going to take tax money and say I'm going to provide these services, it's going to be the best. And that's the standard that I want all of our employees to know, that it's going to be the best. It's no longer going to be a mom and pop. It's going to make sure that if we're going to be good stewards of your money, we're going to give you a quality product. And I believe people are seeing that and seeing the hard work that we're trying to put out there. I can only do so much, with what we have.
Lenny, it's always been my understanding, and I may be wrong, and they may have changed the rules, But in a millage request, I thought that you had to indicate the anticipated revenue for the first year.
I believe that's correct.
Anyone I've ever seen has it in there.
Okay, well, based off of taxable values, a 0.2 relaxing, a 0.2 bump, so that's 148,000. We can easily amend that.
Just says say
140?
approximately, doesn't
Yeah,
say
okay,
exact.
that's-
Oh, no, that's not, that would be the increase, it's not the total. The first year would be 0.825 times,
Yeah,
Our tax-
0.825.
0.825 times our taxable value, the taxable money. So whatever that is.
But that would be it's a renewal with a 0.2 increase, but what you're saying in that first taxable year would just be, what our normal rate would be. So I'm saying like our 0.625 would give us
That
465.
doesn't enter into this discussion.
Okay,
Oh, wait, the 0.265 is going on for 2 more years?
right.
Yeah,
The 0.625.
No, 0.2.
Oh, 0.2.
0.2 is going for 2 more years. 0.375 is what needs to be re-upped. Okay.
So
wait a minute, where's the 375?
The
Well, he's upped it
375
to
ended in 2019. So I can't call it a renewal.
No,
That was
no.
what we're told.
Okay.
We can't call it a renewal because 375 fell off in
That's
2019.
gone,
That's
okay.
gone.
So what it is 0.625 would be new money. Because he already got 2 already.
But he's asking for 0.8.
What are you asking? So are you doing 825 for a year during the 0.2 at the same time?
Yes, and the
But
0.2 is going to
you
fall
can't
off.
commingle them though.
We're
They're not
not.
gonna be
They're
commingled.
not going to be commingled.
So you're gonna have a 0.825 and a 0.2,
Mm-hmm.
two separate
2
millages.
separate millages.
Happening
Okay,
for
I thought,
And
I
then,
thought
and
you
then
put
when
them
the
together. I'm
0.25
sorry,
comes
my
up
apologies.
for
I thought
Then
you-
when-
You won't come, yeah,
we can decide to let it fall off.
Got it.
I got it. So then you need that money, what it would bring in for the 825.
That's why it has to be a brand new millage and not.
Right,
Right.
right.
Agreed.
Right.
Okay.
So you take.
Don't worry, we all sat down. I said the same thing. I've never done this before, so they sat down.
Well, we were trying to figure out that 0.2, but you're gonna do 2 at once for a year, right? For
Right,
21.
and then that's why I want this one to be the 6, so this will take over all. Take over
Got
it
it.
all.
Got it. Okay. Are you being asked to approve this today?
I believe so to get on the November 3rd ballot. Because
What's
it's
the
not gonna,
deadline? Is it today?
I apologize, I don't have that in front of me.
Because we're gonna
I
have
don't
the
know
right
for the
language in the
November,
amount.
no, because you can still get on the November ballot after the primary.
Yeah.
You got a couple weeks after the
September
primary.
7th or something like that.
Yeah, you've got,
I can't vote yes on this today.
Let's just
That's
tweak
fine.
it, get your totals in there, and what you think it's gonna bring in. It's gonna be about 825 will be
825 is
600,000.
$610,500.
600,000.
I have those numbers.
Yeah.
Right. So we just need to add the amount.
Add the amount in there. Yeah, that's all.
yeah, I think this is just getting a rough draft. Now we can get the numbers in there and we can approve it. But I think you have to like you said, something, a couple weeks after the primary.
So our CPAs took an average of 3 years, which was 740,637. Yeah, 740 million.
610 would probably be a pretty good
Right, and that's
approximate.
that's basically what we based
Operating.
off.
Approximately 610. Yeah.
We had time to do it.
Yeah, you have time to do it. If it gets defeated in the primary, you
All
get a
right.
couple weeks.
We'll do it the next meeting.
Okay.
Any other questions for Lenny?
Nope, thank you.
What's your insurance going to look like on your vehicle, cost-wise?
Believe it or not, it wasn't a very big bump. If there was no really change, because a lot of the insurance companies, we go through Lappin, and they basically have done this before with other agencies. Because it's not a primary mode of business, it doesn't change the insurance. And because this is a program, it's just like insuring one of our trucks. But we are going to have to carry a chauffeur's license on the
Right,
person that's
right.
going to be driving. So look forward to these casino trips that are going to be coming, hopefully, once everything gets back up to normal.
Lenny,
Yes, ma'am.
the date is August 11th.
August 11th.
Yeah, I have 1 week.
Just a question on that. I'm sorry, but I remember with the veterans or the EMS millage, we had to come and reapprove the minutes in order
This is
to,
for the November.
November ballot.
but I mean, okay, so they have to have it done by then.
Right.
And then we just approve it in the minutes later. It's, okay.
All right. No other comments or questions? Thanks, Lenny.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Have a good day.
All right. Let's get that.
Election's on the 4th.
Oh, wait. You want to do that?
Yeah.
6 days that they were
7
down.
days, yeah. I read September, whatever.
All right.
I remember.
Tim, can you hear me? Unmute him there, John. There you go.
Yeah, I
You're
can,
on-
I can
you're
hear you.
live.
Can you hear me?
We can.
I can see you. I got the Goodyear blimp view of the room here, so.
Yes. All right. How are you, Tim?
I'm doing well. How's everybody in Harrisville?
So where's the scene behind you? It's not
That's-
Detroit.
No, it's just a scene. I'm sitting
John,
in
put that up. Can you put that up, John? I can see it on mine.
It's a
I'm waiting for
background because I say life's a beach.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, I just heard him go in his office. All right, go ahead and get started, Tim, and I'll see if he can pull up so we can see your
Okay.
face.
I guess I'm here to talk about the MMRMA renewal, which occurred on 7/1. I presented to Stephanie the renewal, and the MMRMA program has done well this year. We gave back. You guys are not eligible yet, but you're accruing credit for next renewal. You'll get your first net asset distribution check. But we gave back $33.5 million back to our members this year. We also gave, which part of that monies that come back is our risk avoidance program, which you guys are now eligible for. So I'm really excited for that because I think there's a lot of things that you may have in your budget. I'm sure your sheriff has in their budget some things that we can help you pay for. I will send, if Stephanie doesn't have it, but I will send her a copy of the most recent standard grant list. I encourage you to send that to all your department heads and take a look at the things that we will automatically help you with. That doesn't preclude you guys to think of different things that you might otherwise, that you might think of that could help prevent a liability or property loss. Every one of the grants that we got came from as an idea from one of our departments of our members of MMRMA. So I'm excited for that. We give back $1.75 million a year, and if we don't use it all, that amount carries over to the next year, which happened last year. So this year we're a little over $2 million that we have available in grant fundings for projects, for risk management projects that help you guys avoid property and liability losses. So I'm excied for that. I think this is where the county is going to start to see a really good return on their investment in MMRMA. Do you have the renewal proposal in front of you by chance?
I do. I think everybody else does. Yep.
Okay. I don't want to. Do you want me to give you the 10,000 foot view, or do you want me to get into the weeds on this? I don't want to turn it.
I'll take the high view.
Let's drop him in the middle.
Okay.
How's that?
All right. Well, okay. So if you look at the proposal, your proposal coverage is continuous until canceled, even though we're after July 1. Coverage is in force, so don't worry about that. It goes July 1 to July 1. You are a state pool member, so you don't have any self-insured retention obligations. Those are absorbed by the state pool, so you have no liability deductible. So even though the state pool honors the self-insured retention obligations, you guys don't see it, so it looks like $1 coverage for you guys. Your deductible scenario has not changed. You have vehicle physical damage is $250. Your fire and EMS deductible, because we don't treat them as vehicles, we treat them on a replacement cost basis, and we treat them as property. So there's a $1,000 deductible there, and a property and crime $1,000 deductible, and you do not have sewage system overflow coverage. That is nothing has really changed on your deductible scenario and your self-insured retention. Liability is $5 million per occurrence with no aggregates. That has not changed. You do have coverage for when volunteers get hurt, and these are true volunteers, not court-appointed volunteers. I think we had some discussion on a program that involved inmates and community service, but those do not qualify for them because they're not true volunteers. First aid coverage, you have $2,000 of coverage for those nuisance claims. That gives our adjusters the ability to get rid of those claims without as gestures of goodwill and without getting into a litigation situation. We can offer a gesture of goodwill, get out of it for cheap, have them sign a release, and that coverage is $2,000. If they refuse to sign the release, well, then you have the full $5 million available to you. Other than that, your vehicle physical damage is the same. Your uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage is the same. There's been a lot of discussion on item number 8, Michigan no fault. We offer that coverage, continue to offer that coverage per statute. There's a lot of discussion going on about what happened at the beginning of July here, a couple weeks ago when the no fault law came into effect. The biggest conversation revolves around personal injury protection. Personal injury protection is now an option. You have a number of different options on the personal side. MMRMA, because we're a group of self-insured governmental entities, we're not a commercial insurance organization. According to the state, we are not. We do not offer anything other than unlimited. We are not allowed to. So nothing really changes on the personal injury protection for the county and the coverage that we provide. So that's good news, I think. Terrorism coverage is the same as it was. Your buildings and personal property totaled 8.8 million. It's the limit we give you is 9.8 million, and we automatically throw an extra million on top to pad for any EDP discrepancies. We know that's a constantly changing animal between software programming and equipment. So we give you an extra million on top in case there's any discrepancy. I won't go through each one of these on the next table, but I'll highlight the ones unreported that are important. Unreported property of 5 million. If you forget to tell us you got a new bunch of backhoes or a new bunch of equipment of some sort, automatically covered up to 5 million. The big one is because you guys do get foreclosed properties, newly acquired or constructed property. We give you 180 days to report building acquisitions. They're automatically covered up to $10 million per occurrence. And the reason we do that is because we know you get properties on foreclosure in April, and you probably have till August to get rid of them. And what's left over and what you want to keep ends up on your building schedule. But that we give you that $10 million per occurrence coverage. The other big coverages is item number 9, things that are important to the county. You have EMS vehicles that we cover on a replacement cost basis, and those are covered at $5 million per unit. We do use a schedule, that replacement cost schedule. We get those values from you as to what you can replace your vehicles with. But we do give you that up to $5 million per unit. That also includes all your mobile equipment, which are your backhoes and your tractors, your four wheels vehicles that might not be designed for public travel on the roads. Another big thing is if you have one of your EMS units go down, we give you $1,000 a week for 12 weeks of rental in case you need to rent one to keep your community safe and provide the same level of coverage. The structures other than the building, these are things without 4 walls and a roof, anything without, well, not 4 walls, anything not walled and roof. Your pavilions, your bridges, dams, your boardwalks, those kinds of things are covered under that. Income and extra expense, item number 15 is important. That's if you had a fire and you had to bring in trailers or rent another facility to continue operations, that's an extra expense. We cover that. If for some reason you lost income because of it, we'd also cover that as well to $5 million per occurrence. In blanket employee fidelity, this is your embezzlement coverage of $1 million. And faithful performance, we know that the state requires certain positions to carry certain public official bonds, and we cover those per statute, whatever the limits are, up to $1 million. So, and of course, flood and earthquake is covered like it was. Terrorism is still covered at $50 million per occurrence for property. And then the next table 3 is your data breach and privacy liability. That's all covered, exactly the same as it was a year ago when you guys joined. If you want me to get into that, I will. Otherwise, I'll proceed down to the price page. The price page, we're at 98,433. And we did talk about that. Stephanie and I did talk about that. We did some actual re-verifying of the numbers last year when your questionnaire came back. It totaled 10 law enforcement equivalents. And this year we verified and we double checked. Stephanie did a good job and the sheriff did a good job of double checking, and we did verify that there are 15. So that's the reason for the jump in law enforcement. There's some other, let me go through some other jumps that you might see. Your auto liability went up, and we've seen an increase of that line of coverage across the board, and that's not only due to the change in the no-fault law, but it's also due to nationally the distracted drivings and liability. Our rates that we get from our reinsurers go up, and so we passed some of those rate increases along. Fire and EMS is the same. If you go to general liability, is down a little bit, even though your exposure went up about 300,000. Public officials, we've seen an increase in this across the board for all our public officials. It has nothing to do with what you are doing as a body of public officials. MMRMA puts a lot of different lines of coverage in that. One of the biggest ones is our employment practices liability. And the reason that jumped up is because we've seen a big increase in our rates, and for those employment practices liability claims like harassments. The hashtag #MeToo movement caused a big shift in rates nationally, along with your discriminations and your wrongful terminations, those kinds of things. So that's why that jumped up a little bit. Other than that, if it weren't for also your property's up a scotch because we did add all the library properties. Now we added those last January, and we added a midterm. We did not charge you for them. But we're adding them now, and now they rate you on them. So, and that's somewhere around $2,000 this year. So you will get a premium breakdown on all these things after the contract's approved and signed, and I'll have that sent out right away. Other than that, if it weren't for the addition of the property and the exposure increase on the law enforcement, you guys had a pretty flat renewal, which is good. So. Other than that, I'll leave it open to questions. If you have any questions, I'm happy to entertain them.
All right, thanks, Tim. All right, yeah, we got a question here. Dan?
Yeah, Tim, I talked to you earlier when you get back on, just for clarification, when you get back on the descriptions of the different buildings and that, there was a couple storage buildings that showed no value on contents. And then after talking to our sheriff and our maintenance official, there is quite a bit of contents in there, but like when I was talking to you, really that's all covered under unreported property.
Yeah, well, it can be covered under, it depends what it is. It can be covered unreported property. It can be covered as mobile equipment. It sounds to me like there were some Kubotas and some other things that were included in that. Is that correct?
Well, no, the one storage building, which is behind our police department, jail, that at times can have a lot of different values in there, guns,
what type?
et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And it shows, no content value in there. And in talking to our sheriff, there can be 40,000 to 70,000 in there.
Yeah,
I don't know if that needs to be looked at or what.
Well, I don't think that, one, from a coverage standpoint, the limit that you see there of 9 million is a blanket limit. So I'm not concerned about it. We should correct that if there's stuff that you have in there that you want to make sure that the contents are covered. I think you'd be safe as it is. But if you're concerned about it and you think that there should be some contents added to that are not represented anywhere else at any other location, then yeah, let's do that. And if it's $40,000-$50,000 or whatever, I don't think it's going to make it. There won't be any change in premium if you just add that. So just let me know what you want me to put in there, and we'll add that to the schedule.
Okay.
Any other questions?
So Well, I guess everybody, our biggest, because of the increase is really the difference in the reported as far as our personnel and our police department, right?
Yes, that's really what it comes down to. Otherwise, you had a really flat renewal.
All right, I'm looking around. I don't see any other questions. Comment? All right, Tim, I think we got it.
Okay, I look forward to working with you guys this year, and I'm really looking forward to working with your department heads on getting you some of that grant money. So
When is our date to qualify? End of the year?
you're up and running right now. You can apply right away. Your date.
Oh,
was
the other
July
one,
1.
the reimbursement one is another year
Oh, yeah,
or something.
yeah. Next year, at next renewal, your net asset distribution, you'll get your first check after next renewal. So,
Okay,
but you've been accruing credit this whole time. It's just they don't give you your first net asset distribution check until your second renewal. So,
okay.
okay.
All righty. Thank you, Tim.
All right. Thank you. If you need me for anything, Stephanie's got my number. And I look forward to working with you guys again for the next year.
All righty. Thanks.
Thank you.
All righty. Scott, in person, live. Scott Rice.
We're gonna do the CARES Act. I think the sheriff is the one who put it all together.
Scott Stevenson, are you out there?
Yes, I am.
All the data together.
All right. All right. Well, Scott is kind of deferring to you a little bit here.
No, that's okay. I can address it. You can hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah. I filled out that application, Craig, and I don't know if you guys have gotten a chance to look at it yet or not. It's quite lengthy and it requires quite a few initials and dates on it. And what it is it's the CARES Act that's come down from the federal government to the state, and the states are now allocating it to local governments for first responder hazard pay of $1,000 per eligible. You have it there?
Can't hardly hear you, Scott.
Yep, that's right, because I'm looking for stuff.
Oh.
So do you have it there, Craig?
I don't have it in my paper pile, but I might have it in my email. I know you sent it to me.
I emailed it to you, yeah. So there's 46 eligible employees. The caveat with this is it's just like any other grant we get from the state. It has to be paid up front and it's reimbursed. The dates are September 30th that it has to be paid by. And it's reimbursed no later than November 14th or 15th. I don't remember the exact date. But, so there's a little bit of lag time. The problem with this grant application is that they require a date that you're going to pay them or have already paid them the grant or the hazard pay. So it's not complete without a date. Now it does indicate that you can indicate a future date of payment on there, but you do have to indicate that date.
So we pay the departments the hazard pay, and then we wait 45 days to get reimbursed.
Right.
That's what
Scott? The EMS one has 19 people listed. How many would you have or do you have on your list?
Mine has 21.
Pardon?
Mine has 21.
Okay.
And 911 has 6.
Who has 6?
911.
So this one's different, Scott? You got to update it? This one says 19.
That's mine.
Yeah.
I thought, is that just for EMS or is that all three?
This says everybody, law enforcement at 11.
Everyone's there. There's 19 for the ambulance service. There's 21 for the sheriff's department and 6 for 911, which should
That's
add
correct.
up
46.
total. So 46,000 would have to be paid out in hazard pay, and we would recoup that from,
Yeah.
if we were approved for this grant, or this hazard pay program, for all the employees that were paid out on.
Do we have to pay it in order to submit the grant?
Yes.
It has to be, you have to pay it out, yeah.
Before you get approved?
Before you get approved?
Yep.
No?
No,
You can get approved.
You pick your date.
you pick the date.
In the
You
application.
can have an anticipated payment date.
I think it's September
30th.
30th is the maximum. So if you paid all the eligible employees by September 30th, you, if approved by the state for the grant, you would get reimbursement no later than November 14th, 2020.
If they haven't run out by September
Right,
30th.
it's a first come, first served. It's gotta be turned in by this Friday, July 17th, 11:59 PM. Those are their rules.
So you turn it in, but so the secret to this or the trick to this is what date you're gonna say you're gonna pay it out. To get it be first before they run out of money, or what, is that what the?
There's no reason you wouldn't apply for it to find out if you're eligible.
Right, but you still have to put the date in there to apply for it, right?
Right. You
Right.
have till September 30th to make the necessary payment.
It's not first paid, first served, it's first applied,
Correct.
first served.
First come,
Oh,
first
it's
served.
first applied.
Correct.
Right.
Oh,
So the
that
sooner
makes
we
more
get this
sense.
That
application
makes more sense.
submitted,
We can ramp that in, and then if we
get
don't get
to the
approved,
front of the line a little
we don't
quicker.
have to make a move on it.
Right.
That's acceptable.
Who all has to sign this?
I think all that has to sign it is Craig, but he's also gonna have to go through an
Okay.
initial every single page, stating that you understand it, and basically it's the same guidelines as federal grants, same requirements with most federal grants.
We're going to accept the
I've
motion
completed
now.
it, and it's just gonna take the signatures.
Is there any other questions? Any questions from anybody on this? I know both these guys gotta get going. We can do this now if you want.
Okay, I would then move to approve and authorize the chair to sign the first responder hazard pay premium program, reimbursement program for 911, EMS, and Sheriff's Department.
Continue, okay. Are we gonna have to have two motions, one to pay it ourselves from general fund, and
No,
another one to
approve it
submit the?
first.
We don't have to
You've got
pay
to let
anything.
them apply first.
Yeah, this is just approving
Well,
the
we've gotta
application.
have a motion, we've gotta do something that says we're gonna pay on September 30th, for them to put it in here. We've gotta approve the payment of all these guys, am I right, you think?
So they can apply with the approval date of
Is that
September.
not part of the
I thought that,
program?
I thought that we were gonna set a date and apply, and if we don't get the funds, then we can't pay it out. Well, that could be part of the motion, I think. I think there needs to, I'm just, there might need to be two, one to do the application, one to approve the payment of the hazard pay from the general fund.
But I think in the application, you have to set a date.
Right.
I believe that's
So
correct.
so
Gotta
I.
pay it no later than September 30th.
Correct, so we could have a motion that we are gonna pay our people, on September 30th, hazard pay.
With, upon approval of this grant.
And that's what I would add,
Yeah.
on approval. If it doesn't get approved, then it doesn't get paid. Then those minutes get submitted with this application to show, okay, we did it, we've approved it, we're gonna do it.
We should ask the clerk first then what a appropriate date is for her pay schedule is then to do that. Because September 30th might land in the middle of a.
Does that make
week of
sense to you,
something.
Carolyn? I'm sorry to interrupt your motion, but I almost think we need to approve the payment of the hazard pay first. And then submit
Are you
that.
putting the cart in front of the horse?
Well, we
How
have
do you know
to.
you're gonna be approved?
But you have to
Well,
put the date
we
in.
have to have it in there.
But. Okay, I
Well, so
withdraw
part
my
of the,
motion. I
part of the
withdraw my
motion would be, if we don't get the
27th.
grant, we're not paying.
27th.
But we have to show them that we are gonna pay
Yeah,
in order
that's when it
to
ends.
to
That means they
apply.
get it in October.
Is that not part of the application?
I don't know. I don't know how it can be. They have already said you gotta do it
It
before.
says reimbursement, submit to blah, 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 blah. Date the first responder hazard pay premium was paid or will be paid to employee. That's part of the
Right, then we can
application.
do it right in it. All right,
So that's why I don't think we need,
page 10?
Page
Okay.
10.
And that would be 9/27. That's our pay period
Oh.
date.
September, we get paid, county gets paid the 3rd to 17th. That helps you in any way, shape.
So in your motion, say what date
Pay
you want
period
to be,
ends the 27th.
want it to be paid.
That's the end of
the people
September.
that process this
They'll
will
get-
put it
Pay on
in.
October 1st.
It will
It's
be,
October 1st
be
though, because they
presumably all the
earned
same date.
17th, then you go 14 more days, it's October 1st.
To complete this application, they have to put a date
It's the
in
day
it.
they receive the
Right
money.
Right here,
Gary, go
no,
Gary.
this is the date that you intend to pay these individuals.
Right.
That's all you have to.
Okay, so we'll put all that in there.
13th.
Yep.
It'd be the last
Got it.
payday in September.
It
Okay.
becomes part of the
Yep,
application.
we'll submit it with it then.
Zip pay
Okay.
it. See, they write the checks on the 17th, on the
That
Thursday.
you have to
We approve
ultimately
them, so
sign.
It can be an off schedule, it doesn't have to be in a
Yeah.
regular payroll, it could be a separate payroll, and it would be easily possible if it was on an off week, so.
True.
That would depend on the clerk.
That's why I wanted to get the clerk's office involved, because there's always that always happens, there's a conflict somewhere.
Okay, so your motion is to, you move to submit the application with a pay date in September that is,
No, that is not my motion.
okay? We got, do we have to put the dates in here somewhere?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so what is that date?
17.
It's going to be established. Finance is gonna be the, finance and the clerk's office is going to put it in.
We just get, her motion is for you, for us
Do
to
it.
approve you to sign everything.
So we don't, okay,
And submit it
Right.
for the three entities that we just mentioned.
Right.
good with you?
Yeah, it's good to do.
Okay.
If I
They've
may,
got it.
Yep.
Look on page 13. That's where you're gonna list all your eligible employees.
I don't have it.
Column 3 says payment dates. You're gonna have to fill in a date.
I see that, yeah, somebody's gotta put the date in there.
When you submit it by Friday, it's as to what day
Oh, there it is.
the county wishes to pay their employees.
I just, as the conversation was going on here, everybody I think is on board that we'd like this date to be as close to September 30th as possible.
I'm not understanding why on that. I have some speculations on it myself. What is the rationale for that? That we will have more of our taxes in?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
Cash flow.
Well, Carol,
100%
I
cash flow.
Cash-
The speculation is
cash
also
flow,
that
okay.
Closer between payout and rebate and getting the money
Well,
back.
that, I don't think that's gonna be any closer.
What was that, Scott?
I think Adam just hit on it. I think the idea is that the shorter the time period between the time of the disbursement and the time you get reimbursed from the state is keeping that shorter. I think that's what Adam was just saying.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're $1 million backwards
Yep.
in cash right now, so.
Right.
well, that was my whole, that's all I'm trying to do is make
Yep,
sure
the
we get
shorter
that.
we're
The
out,
other
the
thing is,
better.
the other thing is, if we do it late, then everybody's gonna be in front of us, and we're gonna be even later.
We don't, no, we're gonna be applying immediately.
Oh,
As
yes,
soon as
yes,
it's
yes.
submitted, and it's a first come application basis. First application is gonna get the funds. The one that's turned in on September 30th is not. It doesn't have to do with the payment date, it has to do with the application date.
Right.
So we're hitting the beginning of it this Friday.
That's what I understand, and that's kind of where we're looking right now.
All right, well, after I took us for a wild and woolly trip around the pasture here, go ahead
Long
and finish
story
your
short is-
motion.
Go
Who's
ahead,
putting
finish
the
your motion.
5 of us on their list? I'm kidding.
All right, finish your motion, please.
I did.
So, and reiterate it for Trina, because I don't think she got it.
You have it?
Carolyn motion to approve and authorize chair to sign application for the grant.
For the first responder hazard pay premium program reimbursement.
With finance determining a payment date.
Yeah, okay.
So we're doing?
With finance
Apparently.
Just-
determining.
You don't
I
even
didn't,
have to
no, I
put
did
that-
not make that. I didn't clutter up my motion with all that nonsense.
Okay. So somebody's got to determine that payment date.
Yes. The people who see that it gets sent in, they'll do it. I have confidence in these two gentlemen and the 3 other gentlemen that
Okay.
are working with them.
You guys are in
They're gonna
charge.
give you a piece of paper and say, please sign this. Please don't lose it on your desk.
What are you looking at me for?
I'll second the motion.
Yeah, please.
And
Thank you, Dan.
All right, so it's been properly moved and supported and beat to death like a dead horse. All those in favor?
Wait a minute.
Oh, do you have more?
Isn't there discussion after a motion?
Yeah. Go ahead, Dan, or if anybody's, or,
I'm sorry, I have nothing against our first responders, but this thing has been getting a little out of hand with all this money we've been getting. We've been getting paid to stay home. We get an extra $600. for unemployment. I struggle with it on that basis, and I would like a roll call on the motion.
Any other
I
comments?
could add something. Could I add something?
Yeah, Scott?
Yeah, none of our first responders qualified for that $600. None of our first responders have been staying home. And furthermore, this is money that is to be allocated from the state to the counties. So if we don't participate in this, we're leaving this money in the state's hands to spend it however they like. And we've seen already what the state's doing is paying hazard pay to their corrections officers and state police $750 pay period. So if it's not us taking this money and taking advantage of this, we're leaving this in the hands of the state.
Thank you, Scott. I would agree. I mean, so all these guys, and none of them were off and drew their unemployment or their whatever other free monies there are. Everybody worked through all of this. So,
Just, can I add a comment? Your individual townships are also able to apply for this under the local unit. So if you're having,
they have fire.
fire and first responders, you could potentially have this available, but it would have to be on an individual township basis.
Okay.
And I would encourage you.
Let
to
our
contact your
townships know. Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Or Barton City.
All right. There's any other discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please.
Brady,
Yes.
Winnet,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Yes.
Brumman.
Yes.
Motion passes. All right, Scott, we're all set. Let me know when you want me to sign it.
Okay, and I also have that PDF, Craig, so I can complete it and get that submitted, no problem. I've got one other grant that I've applied for, and I think Commissioner Brady forwarded it to me a couple weeks ago. And also a MSPCE SF grant, and it has to do with overtime that we paid out to people that were recovering for COVID or quarantine people. It's about $27,000, and we can also be reimbursed for supplies and materials related to COVID that we didn't expect to have to buy, along with technology to work remotely. So I've put in for that. Haven't got anything back on it yet, although I did amend it a little bit yesterday by $10. So I think I'm probably going to get okayed for that because that was already set up by the state on how much you get, and you just have to spend it according to their guidelines. So I'll give you an update when I get something back on that, but it's also a pretty promising grant. It's very similar to the CARES Act, but it goes through the state police.
All righty. Thank you, Scott.
Yep, you're welcome.
Scott, was that all you had to? I mean,
Right.
okay. Anything else happening that you need to report on?
Run volume's picking back up, getting busier. Emergency management, we're still getting supplies in. I've got to go to Alpena later this week and still get more equipment that's come in. We're still waiting for more disinfecting wipes and goggles and safety glasses. This week we're getting infrared and touchless thermometers.
Any information you haven't heard? I mean, we're not increasing here, as you know. I mean, we're seeing everything on the national news about all these states. Nothing that you've heard that.
You know, cases are going up overall at the state. We're still at 19 cases, 1 death. You know, the bigger cities, the more populated cities are the ones that are seeing the spikes or the increases down the state more and more, but we're holding our own. There's a few, Presque Isle, Montmorency, Alpena counties, you know, they're getting a couple a week maybe. Their numbers are slightly higher than ours, but we're holding our own even with the influx of seasonal people coming in.
All right. I didn't have anything else. Anybody else have a question? Okay. All set? All right. Thanks, Scott. Missy.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
I am just here, I just wanted to kind of give everyone an update of the first 6 months for the Register of Deeds office. So amid all of the COVID and everything else that has gone down, I mean, we shut down in the middle of March. And if you turn to the second page, you can kind of see that our document volume, for the month of April had decreased quite drastically. Normally, our average is between, I would say, around 275 to 300 documents per month. So April did see quite a decrease in documents, and overall, at the end of June, our total document volume was down around 200 documents from the same time in 2019. We have though seen, we started doing the electronic documents back in last November of 19. And those have increased drastically. I think part of that is due to the COVID thing, because many people could then record electronically and not have to, do things in person. They were allowed to, electronically sign, do the electronic notary and everything. But, so January showed 31 electronic documents recorded, and in June we recorded 61 electronic documents. So that has doubled pretty much since the beginning of the year. And, all the other registers I talked to, I think we can just plan to see those numbers increase. That's the way that the world is going. Everything is becoming electronic. So it's nice to see that increasing. Property fraud alert, we introduced that to the public. I believe I introduced that at the May 20th meeting this year. So we have a total of 221 people had signed up for the property fraud alert by the end of June. So we are working to try and continue to promote that program. It is a free program to the property owners of Alcona County. I think many people have been very receptive of that and sound interested in signing up for it. And as far as number of sales goes, just tracking the number of actual property sales. So we've had, the best I can come up with is 220 property sales. So those have resulted in a total dollar amount of property sales for Alcona County of $18,485,000. So for the month of June, we did $6.2 million in property sales. June of 2019, we did $5.9 million. So we are up slightly from last June in the total property sales. Total revenue for the Register of Deeds office through June is $237,000. And I don't have statistics from 2019. I wasn't able to gather all that information. The other two items listed on this report, the Tapestry revenue and the Laredo revenue, those are the two online programs for which people can use to access recorded documents and search those from their homes or their home computers. So we are seeing, we've seen an increase of $12,000 to $13,000 in revenue just from those two programs being brought on board since, well, that happened last November, but this would be just since January. So it's nice to kind of see that revenue coming in. That was revenue that was not being, we weren't seeing revenue from that avenue prior to us changing software providers last November, so it's nice to see that. I don't know if anyone has any questions.
Just a quick one on the e-documents. Is that, what's the risk of fraud at that point? Is that?
So the electronic documents, there's a risk of fraud, I would say, with everything. The electronic documents, people have been electronically recording documents in Michigan for 20 years, so the program is pretty well vetted. There are steps. It's done through, most of the electronic documents we receive is through our vendor Simplifile. We do have a couple other vendors that we're signed on with, but the majority is Simplifile. They vet the documents, they are who the client signs up with, so everything goes through them. And there are steps in place to make sure that those documents meet all the correct requirements in order to be a legitimate document for recording. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
All right. Doug Cheek, I don't have him on the list here, but Doug's gonna give us a little rundown on what EDC's been doing. So Doug, you got the floor.
I've watched a lot of mafia movies. I don't know if I want to stand on this.
There's no plastic down, so that's a good thing.
No plastic. Hi, last time I met with you guys was February 5th. There were a lot more people in this room that day, but just wanted to give you a little bit of an update on what we're doing. And I want to give you this first because I'm going to ask you to keep this, because I'm going to ask you some questions. That's just my contact information. That's all it is. There you go, and there you go. Okay, when last we met, I was reporting on our committee that had just started up right around the first of the year, late 19. And we were focusing on broadband as an economic development issue. We had started that work, started going down that path, and the world changed a bit after February 5th. And there became some real immediate community needs with the schools, and I'll talk about that in a minute, in terms of getting the students to a position where they can utilize better broadband services any way we could. And so we sort of left the bigger vision of trying to nail down the whole county, start focusing on really specific community development issues regarding the schools. I'll talk a little bit about some work we've done with Lenny. But what I wanted to point out on the back of that card, it talks about how we work and how we see our job here. And you know, we initially discover, investigate, facilitate, and recommend opportunities. And so I'll talk about the schools. Dan is on our committee, Dan O'Connor, and we started talking about what they were up against, trying to get these kids learning online. They had to mix how they taught when the schools closed, either packets or online. But what we were finding out was that, I don't think this is new news, we're in a connectivity desert here. There's probably 50% of the student population that either has no broadband access or very little broadband access, which makes it difficult for them to learn. So we went to work on an initiative on a broadband mobility bus project. And this in very simple terms, take a school bus, put a really super high-powered router on it, you start moving it around and seeing where the hotspots are, where these kids can roll up, do their homework, things like that. We had a concept. We researched the solutions for the schools. We recommended technology, located Michigan reseller and technology provider services. And the equipment was delivered last week. And they're currently going out next week in a bus with these high-powered routers on it to find the clusters and the hotspots. In conjunction with that, we used county mapping to develop the clusters of the student addresses. So that is well underway. We don't know, this is proof of concept at this point. We don't know how well it will work, how broad it will work, but we think that it stands a very good chance of helping. I'm going to talk a little bit about Lenny's project.
Let me dovetail a little bit on your GIS stuff. So we did utilize our GIS mapping and layering, and we were able to, so in the school's case, we had every student, every residence, and we were able to map that, show where everybody is, show where, what everybody's service actually is, have a dot on a screen, on a picture, you know, right where the lacking is. So it was a great thing for our GIS to do. It was good.
Yeah,
did a good
there's a
job.
lot of hard work by a lot of people.
Yep.
John Hartley got involved. Obviously, Dan and his crew. It's been a cohesive effort across the board.
I think what it did also, I think it helps us, I mean, so that was just a toe in the water as we go forward, and we want to map the needs of not just students, but everybody. You know, where is our broadband? Where is it? We're going to have a visual, a real good handle on how to put the visual.
Start. Right, and it's gonna be a while before we figure out where those hotspots are and how we can utilize them and capitalize them. And alongside that, as we move through that, we are looking at a larger picture, and that is a more robust internet connectivity in the county. Some of the work we're doing is at federal and state level right now, trying to get broadband recognized as a public utility. So there's a lot of different tentacles going on in that regard right now, but we didn't leave that initiative. We just had to take a detour because the schools desperately needed help. I think, like I said, 50% of those kids had no chance of getting any kind of broadband that was substantive enough to do their homework. And we realized in the process that we were finding that it isn't just the lack of service. There are socioeconomic issues where service is actually available, but folks are not signing up. So we learned a lot in this process with this proof of concept. And we're going to continue to work it. I'm looking forward to see how the data falls when they're done with the bus. And the goal there is, if it works, they're going to outfit all their buses like this. And they can park it somewhere, or they can move around the county. They just know that there's going to be spots, or it's going to go dead, just because there's just no service there. But this stands a very good chance of helping, and that's what we're here for. Now, not to just focus on broadband, because this committee is charged with economic development in the county. We fanned out a little bit here, and I mentioned Lenny's project. And when I first started talking to Lenny, he was sort of struggling about where to find funding. And so I went to work on that. I think we gave him all upwards of a dozen opportunities by shifting from small state buckets of money to foundational funding, like Kresge Foundation and things like that. So he's got all that at his fingertips now. They're just waiting to find out what the numbers are. You guys are working on that. But as a supportive effort across a different delta in the county that we didn't set out to do. The other thing that we got involved with here lately was Bill Miller's Lakeshore Broadband Initiative. Bill, to make a long story short, he went to the schools and he offered free broadband internet, just an install fee and no monthlies. But he was having trouble, because of the nature of his technology, to get in places where he could broadcast his signal. So he approached, what's the name of that? WATZ in Caledonia. They have a tower, 250-foot tower. He approached them about putting his equipment up there, which would then light up the northwest section of the county. Hubbard Lake, a lot of students out there. And they were kind of playing typical broadcast hardball. So I got with him, we worked through what he wanted, helped him with an approach, went over to Traverse City, and they are now working on a lease, and an affordable lease, where they're trading in kind services. So again, just that little bit of help has helped him. So this just gives you an overview of where we are, what we're trying to do. And I'll tell you that the committee was formed November, guys, I think, November, December.
Yeah, it was winter when we were in there.
It's
Yep.
really started to gel up. We're finding people's strong points. We're not asking them to do things that they don't either A, understand, or B, don't want to do. But not to lose the focus on the bigger picture, and that is increasing economic development in the county. So I guess I would just ask if you have any questions.
Heard me? None?
No, sounds like you guys are working above and beyond. Appreciate everything you do.
Well, if you flip the card over it, on the back, it tells you, those are our focus points when we enter into any of these issues.
So I would ask, and I've said this to everybody on this board before, and anybody else who's in earshot. I mean, if you know somebody, if somebody's got you know, they're a business and they're struggling in a certain area, get a hold of Doug or get a hold of me or get a hold of the EDC committee, because there's some really smart, neat people who can look in all different directions for help on that.
Right, and that's one reason why I gave you the card. It's got my cell phone number on there. Right now, we are looking to expand the committee a little bit with expertise around the financial side of the equation, funding, finding out, getting somebody that either has financial advisory experience or a retired banker, or is that the playoff music?
Yeah.
You played off the stage.
Got the commercial, sorry.
And we're gonna try our best to find some expertise along those areas, to be able to get concurrent initiatives underway.
Okay, now the problem is
broadband,
outside.
The major broadband issues, there's a lot of money flying around out there from the federal government, USDA
All right, thank
grants
you.
and things of that nature. That's just what it is. It's a lot of marketing right now. We have been following the FCC and dissenting opinions on resolutions. And the dissenting opinions are spot on. The FCC is dealing with data that's not real. They're just saying everything's fine.
Yeah.
There's plenty of broadband out there for rural communities, and it's just not the case. We're living it every day, so I can tell you that it's not the case. So don't hesitate if somebody comes to mind. Not sure, we'll vet them out, make sure that they're going to fit. And
We've had several. How many meetings have we had with people just to brainstorm and, I mean, different bits?
I can't tell you.
Yeah.
Not even the regular meetings. We meet monthly. We religiously have met monthly. And we post our minutes. Everything's transparent. But I can't tell you the amount of phone hours and talking to providers and potential funding sources. And people like Lenny, who's an absolute pleasure, but I agree with him. We have the same sort of goals. We don't want to just do it. Everybody's just, oh, well, we'll just be happy with this. No, we want a gold standard here. Just like he wants it for the seniors, we want the broadband to be a gold standard and an example of what a small county in Upper Michigan can do.
You think you can find us a reliable landline company here?
What's that?
You think you can find us a reliable landline company?
Is that a Frontier question? It was a while.
That was who called. My service has been out since June 30th.
There's a lot of issues. You're right about that. Even the providers like Spectrum. What did we find out early on, Craig? They said they had 4,000.
They have 4,000 people who could potentially use Charter high speed.
Right at the curb, right in front of their house.
And only 2,000 people take it. So their feeling is, why do we want to expand anymore in your county? The people who can get it haven't gotten it enough. We're not really interested in doing any more until we max out what we've already got there. So after digging into that, and then we did a little thinking about it, and I used my dad as the test subject.
Story.
Retired, 70 years old, and he lives right on 23, and high-speed internet goes right by his house. Mm-hmm. And he's never going to hook up to high speed. He has no reason to. I don't need that stuff. And so there's a lot of people like that. You probably all know somebody who.
Well.
So those are some of the numbers that affects Charter's mentality on how they're doing stuff, or Spectrum, I should say.
Well, I've had the same problem with All Band. Originally, they came in and they told us how they were going to do things where we live.
Right.
And so we were going to get free hookup, and I just told them, get lost, because you're not messing anywhere near my driveway. So now that they can put it any which way they want, now they're willing to do it for money. And now it's free, but it's only free if I give them $125 to do it. So I'm trying to figure out how that becomes free. So as you can tell, I'm not much of an All Band fan either.
Yeah, well, each one of the ISPs has their own faults.
Mm-hmm.
There's no perfect science here. They all have their own demographics and how they look at, how valuable a community is. What we're seeing around the country now, we've been following this as well, and we're seeing a lot of public-private consortiums rise up, and they're being extraordinarily successful. And when I say public-private, it isn't just governments and municipalities that are involved, but private investors, larger companies that see the value of extending their big hub networks and things of that nature. So more to come for sure, but I'm sort of sworn to do this quarterly. I was a little late on this one, but I was kind of waiting to see what the schools were gonna get done before I reported on that. But, as of next week, the bus is gonna roll. Only one, and it's gonna be our test bus, and we're gonna see what happens.
What are they planning on not meeting in person and they're gonna do it homeschool or internet school or?
The school.
Honestly, we don't know.
They haven't asked us that. I don't wanna know
They
anything
don't
about
know
that.
themselves yet. They don't know if they're even gonna open.
Yeah, right.
I mean, some of the largest counties in California have gone completely online and said, we just can't put the kids in there now. So I think regardless of that, we know the problem still exists, even if everything was fine, even if this never happened. A lot of those kids couldn't get their homework done. So they had to stay after school, go to the library or something like that, where they could get some broadband and do their homework and get it uploaded.
Well, and we've talked about, I mean, we have an opportunity here to take advantage of a big push that's probably gonna come here because of COVID-19.
Yes.
That we,
Online
is every, yeah.
Yep. Right, and that goes back to that whole idea that they really should be looking at this like a public utility, because everybody uses it, everybody needs it for whatever levels of it,
More than
telemedicine
ever.
for seniors, there's guys that are farmers that need to see those prices every morning, and.
Don't look at them at all, it's
Well,
no
look
good.
at 'em, whatever, but I mean, there's a myriad of people that rely on that. And so we're just gonna continue going along here, and I'll see you in another quarter, and hopefully I'll have some more news for you, but that's what's going on. Any questions?
I do have a question. When your initiative with the schools, which
Yeah.
I think is phenomenal, will you expand that to be the other two school districts that are in Alcona County, Damascoda and the Fairview
Well,
schools?
first we have to prove that it works.
Right.
And then if it does, we'll share, I mean, it's public what we're trying to do. And we'll share that information with anybody. It's up to those specific school districts to make those decisions, put up that money for that equipment and outfit their buses. So
No,
I think,
I get that. I was just curious if that was in your.
not in our plan right now, where we're staying focused on Alcona County right now.
Well, they are Alcona County. They're school districts.
The school districts, and Dan's aware of that. And I think Dan's in the same spot. He wants to be sure that what we're doing is doable. And I'm sure that probably would be the first wave of sharing, would be the other school districts in the county.
And I do know that, so our mapping technique that we use with GIS, that was shared with the ASD or AMAESD, at least north. It didn't get Oscoda because Oscoda's in a different district. So, I mean, it's been convenient because we have a relationship with Dan. I think it takes that relationship with the superintendent in the school because you're asking them to put the money out. So will that come? It could, but we got to prove it's going to work first.
Yeah, I don't want to serve something up to two other school districts if they're not going to work for them.
But yeah, I think Osco probably has the same issues,
They
both
do.
in our county and in their own
And
county.
I think it's even been discussed amongst Dan and his
Yeah,
counterparts.
yeah, I think
But I think everybody's kind of waiting to see what
happens.
What happens with our little test here. And we're all for fanning it out if it works. Now, there are communities across the country that are using this technology right now. There are larger school systems. You're talking about hundreds of thousands of kids and buses all over their counties. But the proof is in the fact that it does do what it's supposed to do. So whether you got 700 students or 70,000 students, if it's getting the signal out there, then it's proof, and it's a mobility issue, so you can move it. And they got 13 buses. And if this works, they're gonna outfit all 13. They already got the money for that if they need it. So our figures are crossed right now.
Yeah, that's just exciting because we do have quite a few students from different school districts outside of the Alcona School
Right.
District that live in Alcona County and are, as you said, poorly served with their broadband and internet capabilities.
Right. We all share the same problem.
Absolutely.
And so the solution would be shared in kind if we can prove it out. So I'm waiting. John caught me in the hallway, said he's got some. Nico did. We're working with NEMCOG too. They helped us map for free, by the way. And he's got some other map he wants to share with me. So,
Nice.
so I'm going to try to get that over to Dan. So That's it. Thank you very much. Any questions? My cell phone's there. Anybody you know that you think might be a fit? I'm all ears.
Alrighty. Any other questions? No? Thanks, Doug. Alright. Everybody good? Want to keep rolling here, right? You gotta get going by noon.
Yeah.
Okay, let's. Unfinished business we have done, new business. Claims?
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the pre-authorized claims and open claims presented for payment between July 1st, 2020 and July 14th, 2020 for check numbers 141308 to 141385 and e-check numbers 1329 to 1346 for a grand total of $529,333.57.
There's support? Moved and supported. Questions, comments? Hearing none? Roll call, please.
Lynette,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Gothier,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes.
Brady.
Yes.
Anything else from finance?
Yeah, there's one thing that passed around. We need to approve one operation line item transfer. And this is, $500 from our contingency fund to our disaster fund. As you know, we've created that disaster fund for invoices to be paid on, equipment, and materials for, related to the COVID-19. And we're about running out of, it should be getting real low, but we needed to transfer another $500 over to that line item. And I guess my question is, on that, we've got, this is gonna bring us over $8,000 spent in that disaster fund line item. Is there ways to recoup some of that money through some of these CARES Act, because it's materials bought for related to that?
My understanding was yes, and I think that it processes through Scott Rice, but I'm not sure on that.
That,
but
I'm
that
not
was-
sure,
That was my impression.
because I know, I mean.
Well, yes, because it's emergency management money.
Well, yeah, so, I mean, we have copies of all those invoices, but like some came from the sheriff's department, some came
Right.
from Scott, on materials bought. And I don't know if they are putting that together for reimbursement, that if they get it, they'll reimburse our general fund for that money spent?
I believe so. And I think it would naturally process through Scott Rice because he is the emergency manager.
So we probably need to get a hold of Scott and try to figure that out.
Yeah, I don't know what process they're using for that, but I
Okay.
feel quite confident.
Okay. So anyway, we need to approve this line item transfer.
Is that a motion?
Yes, I make a motion to approve those items.
Second by Bergie.
Moved and supported to transfer $500 from contingency to the disaster fund. or
Emergency
disaster
management.
line. Any discussion? If not, is there a roll call on this? Roll call, please?
Johnston,
Yes.
Gothier,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes,
Brady,
Yes.
Lynette.
Yes.
Motion passes. Okay. I have no other new business unless
we
anybody,
have a little bit from personnel. You all got a copy of this?
yes.
Behind it is communications that we've had with MAC, just to kind of give you that little bit of an update. I think I've spoken with most all of you, if not all of you. But anyway, if you have questions, let us know. The other thing that we also gave you was a spreadsheet on the,
Cost savings on the work share program?
yeah, the
Potential.
anticipated, yeah. You'll see, if you look down towards the bottom of, about the center of the page, you'll see a figure of 157. That's the additional cost when we added the 5 extra hours onto payroll. That's 157 a pay period, and then you can see as it goes across. So if Brian Brink is not on there yet because he hasn't started yet, if we continue and go into September, presumably he would be added on.
We may be forced to either way with the way the numbers are going and the people and the building shutdowns, and we'll be right in place, I guess. All right. Nothing else? Treasurer's report?
With all the changes for, with the executive orders and in a roundabout way, June 29th was the foreclosure date for the 2017 properties. We have 16 properties that we foreclosed on. Alcona Township, Caledonia, Curtis, Greenbush, and Hawes are the ones that have the property, so there's a total of 16. There's going to be a September 30th online auction. There's going to be no in-person auction this year. We're still getting the details in regards to that, but once we get those, we're putting together our booklet for anyone who's interested in participating. We have first to offer these to the townships, first right of refusal. We do not have any properties that I feel would be of interest to the DNR. They ask that we monitor what we have. They do have first right of refusal. We don't have any waterfront properties or any significant properties that are adjacent to any lands they currently own. And we're looking through that in the mapping process that we have. At this time, there doesn't look like anything that would be of interest to them, but that goes unsaid. They can choose to do what they like because they do have first right of refusal. So once we get those clarifications around the mid to end of August, or mid-August, we'll have a clear, depending on how quickly the townships converge and get their confirmations back to me in regards to whether they're interested in any of the lots for public purpose or not. So that will be, it's a new process that we're doing just online, but we've had a successful second sale every year for the last few years online, so I don't see it as a problem. And they're a good company to work with, and they'll be able to help us in any way in the consumer if they choose to make a purchase. We're working with finance. We're having regular meetings. We have one if we have time after today's meeting. And we've been hammering through a lot of things that need issues or that had issues. Still working with the auditors. They're waiting for some information back from the clerk's office and our office, and signatures from the chairman on a few things. Were those taken care of this morning?
I didn't say anything yet.
Thought there was a.
Okay, she's got your folder.
Okay.
Those have to be signed and sent back to the auditors for confirmation on a few things, and then I'm gonna get together with finance and we'll get those other analyticals figured out for the auditors. Other than that, we are still struggling in the cash flow department. We're over $1 million.
What is any more, I haven't heard any more talk of extending deadlines and for people paying their taxes or
Oh, the governor vetoed it.
summer?
Correct.
Oh, did she? I didn't even
Yeah,
know. I've been busy, so I didn't see it.
Yeah, they approved villages, some language for villages in regards to their elections. We have one village, and been in communication with Holly, and she's on top of it. It's not going to be an issue.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's everything else. We've got all the townships. Everybody should have their tax bills. You know, they're going out. We've been getting phone calls for the townships and referring them to their townships.
And we don't, I don't think I've asked Tom, there's been no, Supreme Court hasn't made any decisions on that foreclosure
No.
suit that you know of either?
No.
No,
Like
it's
nothing.
kind of like falling away or something.
It has not. We did have there was a treasurer's meeting, and there was discussion. There's quite a few different cases that are still pending, and with the situation, the COVID situation, nothing's been resolved yet. We haven't heard any confirmation on anything. But if I do, I will keep you updated. I have got that one, the work share program, and I know there was anything going on in regards to, I just kind of want to get a feel for what the commissioners are thinking as far as the scheduling for the day. We now close at 3 o'clock and then 3:30 on Thursday. And we've been getting a bunch of just inquiries about how is each office expected. That's what my confusion is. We're getting calls and transferring calls when offices aren't taking calls. And some are, some aren't, and we just need some clarity on where that's headed.
So these are people calling from outside in? And getting
After the
transferred
3 o'clock.
After 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock, our office answers phones till 4:30. We're here, we answer phones till 4:30. Some offices don't. And I just need a little clarity on how that's working. Obviously,
Does it automatically transfer to you and,
no, they call us.
oh, they
Or
search
they
out
call
through
it
all the
in.
buttons till somebody
Yeah, they
talks to them?
keep, still somebody answers.
At the clerk's office as well.
So they won't leave a voicemail, they'll just keep
Well,
hitting it
So
till
we're not-
somebody
we're
answers.
We don't have voicemail activation on the main lines.
Right.
It's only on private lines. And the majority, what we display is our office line. For example, you have the building department that has a person that's on a 20%, so they're out of here at 3 o'clock. I don't know if there can be a message put on that machine to say our hours have changed. Please call between these hours or email, because we've had calls come in.
I think they could, couldn't they?
And
I thought they would have done it. So what do we do at clerk's office?
They-
We don't
We've
at
been
3?
taking a lot of calls, even from like the court system after they leave, like, just
So is
random.
anybody answering it after 3
Yes.
Yes, we have.
at the clerk's office?
Yes, we
Oh,
have.
yeah, the clerk's
But they're
office, so
saying
we
that-
haven't reduced
I'm
hours.
saying the building department, they close, they're gone, but the phone isn't telling people not to call, call back tomorrow. Their phone system, if it's available, they need to put something on there that the office is closed and please call tomorrow, instead of the people just call until they get a hold of somebody.
which is what they generally do.
Yeah.
They call
And
the
same
main
with the
line
court
and-
system, same with the courts the same way.
I just wanted to know what your expectation was for the county and putting it out there so we can advise people, because I transferred calls yesterday and they went unanswered. And then they called back and said, well, nobody answered. Okay.
Well, for all intents and
find out.
purposes, everything is done at 3.
Mhm.
And so there could be people in the office. So if you can call before 3 and make an appointment for after 3, I would think we shouldn't even be answering the phone after 3. Because then you've got people who you don't know if someone else is gonna be here after 3.
Well, that's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, so it's just better if we assume nobody's here after 3. If you need to make an appointment with somebody, so if somebody needs to get a hold of you, call you at 2:30 and say, can I meet you at 3:30? Don't try and call you at 3:30 and say, can we meet in a minute or two?
Yeah, I struggle with that because of I'm here till 4:30. I'm here as a treasurer. I'm here as an elected official, and I choose to run my office. If
Right.
someone is there, I want the information to them.
Well, I'm talking about if they call your line direct and you wanna answer it, go for it.
But-
As far as coming in through the switchboard, it should be, the building is closed at 3:30. We could can we put anything on there? It says you can call direct line to the office. I mean, we have those numbers available online.
When they dial the main line, it goes directly to the clerk's office, so I don't know
Right.
if we could change the
So-
way that works.
What if we directed people to the website for direct office lines? And then if somebody's in your office,
They're
well,
already there. It's already there.
yeah, but many people don't know that, so they call thinking they're gonna get the courthouse, and if they get a message that says, we are now only up until 3 o'clock. If you'd like to get a direct line to the office, see our website, you'll have a direct line.
We might have to check with John to see what our phone system will allow us to do. I'm not really sure.
I'd rather have it that way
It
than
seems to me instead of
transfer into dead air.
when you call the county, it should be, welcome to Oklahoma County recorded for this department, press, no, for this
It
department.
is.
It
press.
is.
It
Okay.
is.
If you dial 9400.
Right.
So what?
But
so,
if they don't press the
so,
right
so,
button,
so
or
they,
don't know
so they
what
call
direction
building
to go
department, nobody picks up the phone there and the voicemail pops up, they go, and they try a different extension?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, that, and then,
They're
and so
trying to
the,
get a hold of somebody.
so you just, I mean, To me, you would just say, you know, I'm sorry if they haven't picked up there, that means they're closed for the day. Try back
I'm just
tomorrow.
looking for a response to individuals who call my office, that's all. I don't have a schedule of who picks up
Well, you
the
would
phone
like,
and who
so if
doesn't.
somebody were to call the building 9400 and didn't have any other knowledge, you would like them to have access to your office number in case you're there,
That's not
or
what
you
she's
don't
saying.
want.
No,
What she's saying is if somebody goes through all the hoops to try to talk to a real person, you call the building department, nobody picks up. So you go, oh, this is ridiculous. Then you dial Cheryl's number and ask building department questions.
Well, but
So what is Cheryl's response to that person who calls with a building department question? That's what she wants to
Is that
know.
what you're asking?
There's nowhere to send them.
yeah, the building department should have on their machine that they are closed and
Yeah.
not to call till tomorrow at 8 o'clock. End of story. You can't stop the
thought she-
people that are gonna
I'm
go
sorry,
through.
sir or ma'am. We
Yeah.
can't help you with that concern. Try back tomorrow.
Yeah. They need to have something. I don't know if we can do it on the phone system, so. we don't
Well,
know.
you can't, because that's not what she's addressing. It's not it won't be automatic. Unless you change the message when it calls in. You have to list every department, which is, forget that.
Gonna happen.
But if you dial department's thing, their voicemail should pop up and say, our business hours are from bop to bap, and then,
Yeah.
any further questions, call between those times. That gives Cheryl, when they call her to say, well, what's going on, I need to talk to the building department, she says the same thing.
But for instance, downstairs, you've got both the equalization and prosecuting attorney's office. Nobody's there after 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
So leave a
So,
message.
I mean,
Why not?
Pardon?
No one's there? I thought
No one, I don't believe anyone's there.
that was a different. Okay, you have two different. the
They
10%
weren't
and the 20.
yesterday. There were no lights yesterday at
Which
3:15, 3:30.
Equalization.
so the issue, what do you want to tell people who call you asking?
Equalization was there all day.
That's,
They
yeah.
were?
Yes.
Lights were off, okay. And they
Well,
don't have to have
they,
phones.
I mean, Troy was there. His other two employees are
Right.
20%.
But he's 10%, so.
Right.
That's the 3 o'clock, yeah.
Building's closed at 3. If you go, I don't know what we want to do here. We want to put, I mean, I don't think the clerk's office should be answering the phone after 3 and transferring to an office. Because it's assumed that the building is closed. I mean, it's gonna,
Correct, and it takes away from the time that we're using.
yeah.
For
So at
not
3
being
o'clock
part of the
goes to the answering machine. Now, if I go online and I can access your number direct and I call your office, which I can, then if you
So-
pick up and I talk to you, or can I leave a message on your
No.
direct line?
On my direct line, yes, but that's not what's on. I'm not giving out direct lines. It's only the office line and one of
Or the
three
office line, yeah.
Yeah, no, you can't leave messages on.
Yep.
And so speaking of that, is there maybe a way that we can like publish the new courthouse hours in the local paper or something that gives the public more of
I'm,
an idea?
It's online,
yeah, it is online
but
and
people
we'll,
don't look online.
They don't look at the paper.
we can do an ad in the paper. I'm thinking it's in our paper this week from Mary's, article,
Okay.
but that's what I was waiting for, to see if, you know, it's free.
Mary's
Sorry,
online,
Mary.
isn't she?
Mary, you there? All right, so let's talk to John and see if there's something we can do with any kind of messaging. But, yeah, 3 o'clock's 3 o'clock. I don't think you should be transferring. I don't know what the board thinks, but you
That's
don't,
what I'm looking for is
yeah.
your decision as what you want to see happen for Alcona County.
Building's
after
closed
3
at 3, that, to me, if I know a building or a place is closed at 3, when I call, I figure I'm not gonna get anybody if I try it. I mean, last night's a good example, restaurant, or the hardware closes at 6, I know, don't bother calling at 6:02, because nobody's answering the phone. So if the building here is closed at 3, don't call after 3, because nobody's gonna answer the phone. Is that,
Well, yeah, I just think like the building department. If they have the opportunity to put it on their phone that they're closed and please call tomorrow, you know, any type of
is that
message would
possible,
help.
John? On the building department's one?
Yeah, they have a main line to dial in on. I think it's 440. Yeah, they you can put a recording on there, absolutely. We'll call it
Yeah.
38. It's, you know,
I just would have thought they
everyone
would
who has
have
a
done it.
main number,
They haven't.
every department can put that on their main number.
Okay.
Our stuff that doesn't take messages.
Right, you can set to either take messages, not take messages. It's either way.
And the main number, the main number is the number we have
Well,
published
the
online?
9400 number, we don't wanna touch. We can't touch it
No.
like that because it's gonna go to the individual
No,
departments.
that'll be dead at 3.
You can't make it that.
Well, dead, you know what I mean, it's not gonna be
It
answered.
ends up bringing into the clerk's
Right.
office.
It's gonna end up bringing it to the clerk's office, and we do not want to change that.
No,
The phone system is antiquated.
but all the numbers that are on the website now for the office numbers are what
Yeah,
you're
you
calling the
should be able to
main,
set them so we can take
and
a
you can
message.
put a message on that.
'Cause I know we did it for Troy's office for their main line.
Okay. So let's, everybody good with doing
Yeah.
that? Everybody task John to talk with all the offices and help them set up their little message for the closure?
If they're gonna change it, well,
And that would work, so, I mean, whatever you want. I mean, you might be there till 4 o'clock, so you're gonna answer till 4. And then after 4, it's gonna go to your message, or whenever you leave, right? That's what you'll. And how do you wanna make that? I mean, you're gonna put that out on your own, that it could be available, or I mean, it's online, somebody's gonna take a chance, right? I couldn't get the building, I'll just roll the dice and try her office and see if she's there. That's what I'd do. Do we want to put in any announcement, since I have 2 elected officials here, that the building is closed at 3, however, if you call the direct line,
You have that on this.
we had the under the old COVID-19.
What do you have now?
This is the top of the website.
Yeah, it's, we want to continue that practice. You guys have no problem with that? They can email or call your office direct through that number. They're either gonna get you, cause you're in there, if you wanna answer, or they're gonna get your new message.
We have not been answering the phones after 3 PM because business hours end at 3.
Okay.
We've just been continuing to do our work.
Yep. All right, is the board good with that direction, personnel? Or is personnel good with that direction, board, whatever? All right, thanks, John. Help out with that, thanks for coming in and
One
enlightening
more
me.
job for you, John.
All right, clerk's report. Karina, do you have anything, clerk's office?
Sorry, I already added my comment
Who
on
can?
publishing the new courthouse hours, I guess. You could clarify, do you want me to talk to Steph about placing an ad for the hours in
Yeah,
the paper?
let's do that. I mean, it's gonna be for 60 days here, so, or 40 days, 45.
Okay,
Yes.
weekly or?
No, I think, what's the board think?
What, ad?
An ad for the paper, run it for 2 weeks?
Yeah, just a couple of weeks.
2 weeks? Since we're on that, how has it worked this week? I mean,
Great. I mean, other than, people still coming to the doors, I think there's still, a lot of people who haven't figured out our changes, but, we have had to help people at the doors and answer calls. But once we get all those little kinks worked out, then I'm sure it's gonna be very helpful, with getting our work done efficiently.
Anything else? Clerk's report? No? Communications? We have a couple of things here. Take a look at on your leisure. Committee reports. Gary, do you have anything?
Yeah, 3 things. Community mental health, we held our meeting Thursday. Eric and I were both in the boardroom. I'm kind of struggling with the idea of the schools doing online school because I know our board meeting was getting pretty interesting, let's say, as it went on. So we are going to aim to be in person next month, and we're trying to get some stuff done for meeting our operating goals and such as that. Millen Township, nothing really new to report. They're getting ready for the elections. And Mankato met as well. and nothing really much to report there.
Dan?
I can just tell you that, NEMSCA, we had a meeting, last week, with NEMSCA at the St. John's Church in Alpena. And the sole purpose of that meeting was to look at the possibility of NEMSCA trying to purchase St. John's Church there to move all their headquarters there. After our meeting and all that, the board did approve NEMSCA to approach and try to purchase the property with limits on the amount of money to spend. But so that is moving forward, and they're going to try to buy it. So
Where's
kind of
that at? I'm thinking
that's
Ripley
on
Street.
First Street, kind of in behind if you went through the mall parking lot and it went straight across from the mall parking lot, and that, you know, whatever Third Street, that's Worth. No, it's not Worth. What's that street right there?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's right in there. Beautiful building, 53,000 square feet. They can move all their operations there, Head Start, the whole thing. So that's good. It'd be a big hit for the Alpena school systems because they rent quite a bit of school space throughout the year from the schools. But anyway, that's probably the biggest thing that might come down the pike for Alpena and all that right now. Other than that, that's all.
Ed, anything? Carolyn?
Townships, 911 board, pretty much routine on that. Cedar Lake Improvement Board, we're working on getting the necessary meetings for the new weed assessment. And, with some personnel stuff in it.
Public comment? No one? Commissioners, additional comments?
I'm out of here.
Oh, okay. Anyone else?
I have some ideas on maybe, this is pie in the sky, really, but I would like approval to see if I can find some money for the forest building. It's pie in the sky.
Yeah.
But
We haven't heard anything on that yet. We sure haven't seen what they're proposing, what they're offering.
Well, we know what their minimum bid is.
Oh,
We
we
haven't
do?
heard anything from, they're still at the 97,000 they want.
Really? Oh, I haven't even
Yeah,
seen the
that
ad
was their
yet. Is
appraisal.
it published
No,
yet?
that hasn't happened. They haven't
No.
sent us any auction stuff.
Okay.
What I had sent you before was what they had.
Yeah, but they haven't published it yet.
They haven't not put it out for auction. We're still working on a couple things, trying to make it stop.
And I would comment that Forgotten Eagles, there's a couple of flyers around. 6th, 2 days after we vote, 1 day after our meeting.
Yeah, I gotta go for it.
Get your friends to line 23, so we keep up our good reputation
Mm-hmm.
of being the best county that they come to.
All right.
Public comment, was that in regards to the Forest Service building?
What we just talked about? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
So moved. At 11:45. Thank you.
Sorry, I have to leave. Sorry. That's the only thing.